Hey there, and welcome back to the British Accent Podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Emily. Glad you're here. Today we're diving into something that a lot of people don't really talk about openly: starting over. Let's be honest, it's often painted as this desperate move, like something you do only when everything's fallen apart.
Yeah, it's almost seen as a weakness, isn't it? Like, you're starting over? What happened? But actually, starting over takes a lot more courage than just staying somewhere that's no longer right for you.
Exactly. There's this pressure to keep pushing forward in a straight line, to stick to what you've committed to, even when it's draining you. But there's real bravery in saying, this path isn't right anymore. I need to begin again.
And it doesn't always have to be dramatic. Sometimes it's just this quiet moment where you realize you're outgrowing the life you've built. It doesn't fit anymore. That doesn't make it a failure, it makes it growth.
I think people confuse quitting with starting over, but they're not the same. Quitting is giving up on yourself. Starting over is choosing yourself again. Choosing to realign. To pause and ask, what actually feels right now?
And that question, it's a powerful one. Because it means you're not on autopilot anymore. You're not just living out decisions you made 5 years ago. You're actually checking in with who you are today.
That can be scary, though. Especially if you've built your identity around a certain job, relationship, city, whatever it is. Letting that go, even if it's no longer fulfilling, can feel like stepping into the unknown.
But maybe the unknown isn't something to fear. Maybe it's the place where you get to rewrite the story. Not because the old one was wrong, but because you've changed. And your life deserves to reflect that.
It's wild how often people stay stuck, because they don't want to be seen as inconsistent. Like there's shame in changing your mind. But honestly, isn't it more honest to admit when something isn't working?
Definitely. There's strength in that honesty. And even more strength in doing something about it. Walking away. Starting fresh. That takes guts. Not everyone can do it.
And let's not forget, starting over doesn't mean starting from nothing. You're bringing everything you've learned, everything you've survived. You're not empty, you're experienced. There's wisdom in your restart.
That's the part no one sees. People might look at you and think you're back at square one. But they don't realize, you're starting again from a place of knowing. And that changes everything.
You move differently when you know yourself better. You choose more carefully. You're not rushing to fill space, you're building something that actually feels like you.
And it doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. You don't owe the world a perfect explanation. You only owe yourself the chance to live fully, not just function.
You know what else I've noticed? People often wait for some kind of permission to start over. Like they need something to fall apart completely before they feel justified.
Yeah, like they need the relationship to end dramatically, or the job to get unbearable, just to say, okay, now I can walk away. But why wait until it's broken? You're allowed to leave something simply because it doesn't feel right anymore.
That's such a powerful realization. You don't need a disaster to justify your decision. Peace is a good enough reason. Feeling like you want more joy, more clarity, that's enough.
It goes back to how we're taught to view resilience. Like the stronger person is the one who stays and endures. But actually, sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away with grace and say, this no longer serves me.
Absolutely. Strength isn't always loud. It doesn't always look like fighting. Sometimes it's quiet. It's the decision to let go before it becomes toxic. Before you lose yourself in something you've outgrown.
And there's always that fear of what comes next, right? Like, if I start over, will I find anything better? Will I regret it? That fear is real. But staying stuck out of fear is a high price to pay.
Because even though you might avoid discomfort short term, you're also delaying the possibility of something better. Something more aligned. And deep down, I think we all know when it's time to turn the page.
You can feel it. In the way your energy shifts. In how tired you are, even after a full night's sleep. Or in how you have to keep convincing yourself that it's fine, when it's really not.
That inner voice, it gets harder to ignore. And once you start listening to it, you realize it's not trying to ruin your life. It's trying to rescue it.
Exactly. It's your gut saying, you deserve a life that feels real. You deserve to be where you can breathe.
And maybe starting over is just another way of choosing honesty. With yourself, first and foremost. No more pretending, no more performing. Just being real.
That kind of honesty, it clears the fog. Even if you don't have all the answers, you finally feel free enough to ask the right questions.
And once you've tasted that kind of freedom, it's hard to go back. You begin to understand that the bravest thing isn't holding on, it's letting go with intention.
One of the things people don't talk about enough is how lonely starting over can feel. Even when you know it's the right thing, there's still that in-between space, where you've left the old but haven't quite stepped into the new yet.
It's like floating. You're no longer anchored to the past, but you're not rooted in anything else yet either. And that space, it can feel really vulnerable.
And people around you might not understand. They'll ask why you left, why you changed direction, why you're not where they expected you to be. That can be isolating.
But I think it's in that in-between space that something powerful happens. You get to rebuild, but this time from a more honest place. You get to ask yourself, what actually feels like me?
You stop building for appearances. You start creating from truth. And yeah, it might take time. You might not have a neat timeline or a 5-year plan. But that doesn't mean you're lost.
Not at all. It means you're listening. It means you're moving at the speed of trust. Trust in yourself, trust in what you feel, even if the outside world can't see it yet.
And I think once you've made peace with not needing to explain yourself, everything shifts. You realize, I don't need permission to outgrow something. I don't need applause for doing what's best for me.
You stop looking for validation and start looking for alignment. And that's such a game changer. Because the moment you stop living for others' expectations, you create space for your own truth to grow.
It's funny, isn't it? People think starting over means you're behind. But really, it means you're ahead, because you've had the courage to choose something real over something safe.
That kind of courage doesn't always look impressive from the outside. It's often quiet. Internal. But it builds something solid. Something rooted.
And when you finally settle into that new space, when you start to feel yourself again, it hits differently. You realize that starting over didn't break you. It built you.
And you know what's really beautiful? Once you've gone through it, once you've started over and made it to the other side, you start carrying that quiet kind of confidence. Not loud, not flashy, but steady. Like, I've done this before. I can do it again if I have to.
It becomes part of you. That resilience. That deep trust that no matter what changes, you'll find your way again. Because you already have.
And I think that's when starting over stops being something you fear, and starts being something you trust. Like, yeah, this chapter might end. But I know how to write a new one.
It stops being an ending and becomes a skill. A mindset. Not everything has to last forever to have value. Some things are meant to serve you for a season, and then let you go.
Exactly. Growth isn't about holding on. It's about knowing when it's time to loosen your grip. To stop clinging and start choosing. Choosing better. Choosing what reflects who you are now, not who you were then.
And sometimes, that even includes letting go of parts of yourself. Old habits, old mindsets, old stories you've told yourself about what you can and can't do.
That's such a hard part, realizing that you're not the same version of yourself anymore. And that's okay. That's actually the point. You're supposed to evolve.
Yeah, and once you accept that, you stop trying to fit into places and plans that were never designed for the person you're becoming. You give yourself the freedom to grow.
And that's the core of starting over, isn't it? It's not failure. It's freedom. It's the moment you choose to stop forcing things and start honoring yourself.
And that choice, however quiet it is, it changes everything. It opens the door to something better. Even if you don't see it right away.
You begin to understand that you're not behind, you're just becoming. And becoming takes time. It takes courage. It takes trust.
So if you're in that space right now, somewhere between an ending and a beginning, just know you're not alone. And more than that, you're doing something incredibly brave.
So wherever you are in your journey, at the start, in the middle, or just thinking about it, give yourself grace. You're allowed to change. You're allowed to grow. And you're allowed to start again without shame.
It's not weakness to choose a new path. It's wisdom. It's strength. And maybe even the most powerful kind of self-respect.
Thanks for spending time with us today. If this episode spoke to you, we hope it reminded you that your bravery doesn't have to be loud to be real.
And wherever life takes you next, just remember, it's okay to let go. It's okay to begin again. And you don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing peace over pressure.
You're doing better than you think. Until next time, take care of yourself.
Cheers for now.